20 tips to manage imposter syndrome. Tip number 1. Learn the signs. First, learn the signs of imposter syndrome. You may be afraid of failure or experience feelings of inadequacy. Tip number 2. You're not alone. No, you aren't the only one feeling this way. About 70% of people experience it sometime in their lives. Many accomplished people often have to deal with these negative thoughts. Tip number 3. You are worthy. Recognize that you are worthy of praise. You worked hard to get where you are today. Write down several accomplishments to remind yourself that you are worthy and valued in your career. Tip number 4. Find a balance. Managing imposter syndrome requires you find a balance between entitlement and feeling like a fraud. You want to fall somewhere in the middle, which would be being humble, yet still recognizing your achievements. Tip number 5. Stop seeking perfection. It will be hard, but you need to let go of your perfectionist side. Perfectionism leads to imposter syndrome and makes it worse over time. If you are seeking perfection, then you are likely seeking something that is not realistic. Tip number 6. Be good, not perfect. If you've been seeking perfection for years, it will be challenging to step back and realize your current work is good enough. You don't need to strive for perfection each and every time. Tip number 7. Be kinder to yourself. You will not be the best at something new the first time that you try it. You will need to work hard to gain new skills over time. Being kind to yourself includes how you talk to yourself. In your mind you will want to be kind and positive. Tip number 8. Make affirmations. Positive affirmations will do you a world of good when trying to deal with imposter syndrome. You want the affirmations to be positive. Affirmations lower your anxiety levels and make it easier to deal with stress. Tip number 9. Track successes. Always celebrate and track all of your achievements. You will want to look back on your accomplishments, to remind yourself that you are doing well in the future. There are many different ways to try these. Tip number 10. Collect kind words. Another way to keep track of your success includes tracking kind words. Every time a coworker or boss says something nice to you or compliments your work, write it down. Tip number 11. Keep virtual records. You can also copy and paste kind words from their emails. This will give you something to look back on. Tip number 12. Write down wins. Write down small successes during the day, so you can look back on them before bed. Tip number 13. Talk with your manager. Discussing how you feel with management may help you feel better. They may also have felt the same in the past. Tip number 14. Follow opportunities. Don't hesitate to try new opportunities. You don't have to do everything, but don't turn down career progression opportunities because you don't feel good enough. Tip number 15. Take on new work. Try stepping out of your comfort zone from time to time. It helps build confidence. Tip number 16. Embrace it. Embrace your imposter syndrome and use it to tackle challenges. Tip number 17. Work on healthy responses to failure. You don't need to beat yourself up for making a mistake. Instead, learn from it and move on. Tip number 18. Visualize success. Imagine successful moments instead of failures, to keep yourself positive. Tip number 19. Learn the difference between fact and fiction. Understand that you might not be feeling something that comes from the truth of the situation. Tip number 20. Change your mindset. Work on making your thoughts more positive. You want to see the brighter side of everything you work on.